is the commemoration of the World Interfaith Harmony Week. And that was started, it was an initiative of the Crown Prince of Jordan, something like 10 years ago. I'm not exactly sure of the date, but I know that Universal Peace Federation likes to commemorate the World Interfaith Harmony Week in different countries around the world. So we're very happy to mark this week. Actually, the week is the first week in February, but we always have an event on the last Tuesday of the month. So I fudged the date a little bit, but I hope you forgive me for that one. We will have a range of speakers today, but if you want to say something, then please let me know. We'll have an interactive time also. But I wanted to start off by welcoming up our patron, Duchess Niven Elgamal of Lamberton. If she could open us up with the first talk. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My view and the understanding of future plan for peace is education. Yes, peace needs education, and here at UPF we focus on making the ancient techniques of interfaith Abrahamic technology and root accessible and practical for modern war, as well as removing all financial barriers from those wishing to enhance their lives and the world. This has been the focus of the founder, Mr. and Mrs. Moon, a revolutionary believer in peace who spent decades translating and modernizing the deep wisdom for all, fusing spirituality and science in their journey. Their work would become the basis for our upcoming courses, Universal Peace Federation, UN Peace Education Program, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And all of us here today have one vision of unity and respect. To achieve peace, as a fundamental Abrahamic believer, we believe that women are the source of life. Through a woman body, God creation continue. And children brains, 80% come from the mothers. That's why we believe in education, women, and marriage. United Nations Women UK and Moon's family formed a unity vision between all the nations living in a new world, believe in gender equality. As a woman myself, and as a pillar of community, I believe in the ability of women to build cohesion and positive change, to guard the contribution of the faith groups, and all above, we all here believing and committed to celebrating similarities while recognizing differences for LGBT, women and men, unity plus respect, for real dignity and the goodwill. My mission is to continue to bring this revolutionary wisdom to millions of people in every corner of the globe. UPF, as part of the United Nations and the world, emphasizes the importance of taking in this wisdom from Abrahamic books, classes, and the great religion teachers, applying it to all our thoughts, deeds, and relationships. Our action gives wisdom meaning. The work we subsequently do in the world is what impacts others. Our classes program and event work in an experiential approach that leads every human to a unique life changes through study and connection at Universal Peace Federation. Each of the courses will implant the importance of respect. To sign in, please ask and contact by scanning our link. Let's resonate goodness. Thank you.
Actually, it's true in many ways. It's education that's really needed to change people. Education in the family, education in classroom, education in the place of worship. But somehow there needs to be continual education, and it's very important for making informed choices in our life. So I'm very grateful to have William Haynes here, who's written character education books, which have been educating tens of thousands of children in different parts of the world. And we've been actually helping that with spreading your character education books in the West Bank. But also we're going to be helping Ukraine, where those books are used in peace education courses. So we'll be helping Ukraine. We're also helping Nigeria, where they're teaching character education. And we have a plan to support it to roll out throughout the whole country as a model for how character education can make a major impact in a particular country and change the next generation, so there can be a sea change of culture. So next, I hope he's ready. I haven't spoken to him about the order, but Reverend Dr. Sumana Siri, I know you're a person of amazing capabilities to be able to adapt. Would you like to speak now?
Yes.
That would be wonderful. Thank you. How can interfaith affect greater harmony in the world? This is World Interfaith Harmony Week. Thank you, Margaret. Thank you. Are you okay?
Sisters and brothers, why I say sisters and brothers, you need to understand, instead of brothers and sisters. I had waited for my colleague for a while, he has not come. So I will do his part also by making a small 4-line prayer from my own vocation as a Buddhist monk. I've been a Buddhist monk for 60 years. Many people don't believe, but it's true. Bhavatu sabba mangalang rakhantu sabba devata sabba buddhan bhavena sada sutti bhavantu te bhavatu sabba mangalang rakhantu sabba devata sabba dhammanubhavena sada sutti bhavantu te bhavatu sabba mangalang rakhantu sabba devata sabba sanghanubhavena sada sutti bhavantu te. That's the language of the Buddha in Pali, which means by the blessings of the Trinity in Buddhism, Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, may all of you be well and happy. That itself is the unity story, isn't it? I used to read the morning metro. Very brief news are there, but very interesting sometimes. People just neglect because it's free in a capitalist country, has no value. But every newspaper carries very interesting stories. Today is the day that King Charles first one was beheaded in Whitehall. And today, King Charles III coming out of the prostate enlargement operation with Kate as well. And you know, in medical systems here in this country, they don't talk about sicknesses of the royal families. No, it's like secretive. But the news is out. The cat has come out. So the promotion of the new Prince of Wales is so great. They say she has no cancer. Yeah, the official statement is like that. Yeah. So, and today is the day that Mahatma Gandhi was assassinated by a RSS extremist Hindu fanatic. And that Mahatma Gandhi story was taken to as a film later on in the UK. The Oscar-winning star of that film, Sir Ben Kingsley, and he's in the press newspaper also as well today. And he's 80 now. I remember in the 35 years ago seeing the movie, and we could see what kind of unification that Mahatma Gandhi was fighting for. I was interested because I'm the student of Mahatma Gandhi's last disciple. He was Catholic, who was a Trappist priest, very, staunch type of, I should say, extreme Catholic, who don't speak for a day, for the week, only once a day, they will write. Silent priest, Catholic priest. This is a very rare breed. So he was the last disciple of Mahatma Gandhi, so I had interest. But living all these years and growing up in multi-religious systems and countries, for your information, I have worked in 68 countries to my credit. Hardworking, 18 hours a day I do my work. And Sir Ben Kingsley says today, he's made a comedy now, and that has been praised as 85% frustrating. And he says, when he was honored by that, but I have to be honest, I blocked my ears and shut my eyes. I have no belief at all in anything after death, he says. But I cannot believe at all in anything after death. But I cannot believe at all in anything after that because he says, I cannot comprehend there is nothing. There must be something. So he says, I find it tricky. So that is how the man who acted as Gandhi has given us today a message at the age of 80. And but when I go through the other pages, I feel very sad what has happened to young boys and girls today in this country. When we talk about interfaith, we must not forget society, the young people, the problems of the capitalist system in this country. Boys of 7, 8, 9 just being killed. Every week you have a news in the papers. What's wrong with multi-faith? It's not working properly, functioning in this country. We meet together. We are a good group of people who like to see the unity of all beings, isn't it? Yes. You don't choose one particular group only, because if all are God's children, then what's the problem? Yeah. So there is a big problem if you read the British media. Of course, many media have their own problems, but we live here, so we have some responsibility. Almost every week I read the papers with sadness when I see young people wasted their life, lost their directions. I know the Unification Church for more than 40 years. Maybe the oldest man here in this hall who knows the Unification Church. I've been working with them since 1973-74 as a university student in Sri Lanka. And I'm glad to say that in the 21st century, you see a lot of rest in peace labels in the paper for young people, the crime that they have not created, dying at that young age. My heart bleeds to think of a human being's loss. Life is a very precious thing. Where it comes from is a different issue. But when we don't see that, we have a big problem. Also, we are all affected by the trauma of a corona. This corona is not finished yet. It keeps on growing. And if these viruses were made in Wuhan by the Chinese, it's a terrible thing. It could be, it could not be. It is for us to find where science have failed. As Einstein said, without religion, science is lame. And religion without science is blind. So you see, the interaction of intelligence and also the spirit. You may not be religious, but you can be a spiritual person if you don't attach to a particular religion. So one would argue that humanism is the best form. There is no best as such. All good religions carry good ethical norms and objectives and analysis, even if though they are not scientifically proof enough, doesn't matter. A spirit or spirituality can be without any attachment to a religion. A dispirited science more likely to be misused and exploited by vested interests. Because science is to make money and sing the song, this is what we know. But that is not the end. But some of our teachers, prophets have told us, this is the end of it. This is the last message. I give you the conclusion. Not always to say, this is what we have found so far. So spirituality can be dangerous if it is dogmatic. You see, attachment, according to my Buddha says, don't even be attached to your teachings. What is important is just follow. The personality of a Buddha, the image, is not important. The teachings are important. Even Jiddu Krishnamurti said that. Yeah. The unity of physics and metaphysics, things beyond our body and normal experience, can help uplift the fear that causes trauma and sicknesses. It's a sick world today. The NHS is overwhelmed. Many reasons, which I don't want to say. We are attracted by the wonders of the mobiles and computers. But how many of you would want to accept that the electromagnetic field can give you tumor or cancer, malignant or benign? You don't. You just go on. You know, our attachment is the biggest problem, not the machine. But until it takes you, it's like we are told not to touch liquor. Why? You take the bottle, later the bottle takes you. So is it. Be careful, because I have a family member whose job was to talk with the flights, and she developed brain tumor because of speaking the electromagnetic fields. So I'm talking by experience within the family in understanding that. So we have to be careful in what we use, what we talk, what we say. To have sustainable harmony, caring for the economics and compassion. I don't have to say that we can't live by bread alone, but by the word of the spiritual higher beings as well. And the problem is we have so much fear and anxiety. That is quite normal for human beings. But how to overcome fear and to reduce such imbalances in our life, to face the economics, to face the challenges, to face the disunity among different religions and people, racism and religious extremism, which in Singapore, my country, is totally prohibited even to write in the social media. The next day you are come and questioned by the CID. So by law, they can do it. But by conscience, do you want to do it? That is our problem. We don't have to wait for a law for that. We must speak to ourselves, to be honest to ourselves, so that we want to have a world which is happier, which is having less problems, which is having less sicknesses, where we can get rid of all the viruses. So it's important that we build up our good immune system. I have been tested 16 times for corona, always negative. Then I used to joke, the only negative thing in my life is corona. But you know, the word corona means the crown. You know, even when a king is giving a shepherd title, he shivers, but under that he knows it is coming from such and such a king. Human desire, isn't it? Based on the final stage of religion, which is based normally on meditation, how to be aware about all this nature of things and not to fear, to face them, to overcome them, to transform them. Information itself is not enough. And don't be happy by just information. Transformation is the answer. To make changes for the better, not for the worse. So, when the Buddha sent his first mission of 60 monks, he said, all of you go away, not 2% go on the same road. So that you are distributed and gone. Because 2 means you argue each other. 3 means a quarrel. 4 means a war. That's the old Indian way of judgment. Yeah. He had later advised to state rulers, communities on the analysis of the cause of conflict, crime and violence as a socially engaged great teacher, the Buddha, to gods and men. That poverty is caused due to bad policies. Violence and imbalances found in our social fabric are our own making. And he has given teachings how a ruler could progress in wealth in his or her country and could remain and contain that peace that they want. Where the population strives happily, who keep their doors open to all, each and every. There are few countries where they don't close the doors and go to work. One is Malaysia in Sabah. The other in the Caribbean, go to the Cayman Islands. Because there are no poor people. They don't rob your rooms. You just keep the door open and go your way and come back. Everything is intact. Surprising, isn't it? There's so much of theft when people don't believe in any kinds of morals or ethics. Gone is that society. The difference between human beings and ethics is that we have a sense of ethics and morality, whereas the animals may not have. Yeah? So, to come to my conclusion in the last point of explanation, is that poverty is not a beautiful thing. Simplicity is good. But mega greed is a sin. When you have, be satisfied. Don't think of having more and more and more and end up like Boris Johnson or Donald Trump. Donald Trump says now, today's paper, again, the Metro, that we are now going to face the Third World War. You know, they create all this nonsense to put fear in us to believe them. We've got to be very careful with cunning politicians. Good politicians are there, very few, no doubt. Yeah. So, may good governance that we have already expressed now lead the common happiness of all citizens in this world. As a Buddhist monk, I wish that in this week of multi-faith cooperation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So, be without attachment. I like the phrase. You touch the bottle and the bottle takes you. It's a good phrase. There's one in the Bible that when Cain was having trouble with Abel, he felt troubled. God warned him and said, sin is crouching at your door. I had this feeling of like someone waiting to pounce. As soon as there was 1 inch open, they'd put in their foot, and then you have this feeling of the building resentment, and you just have give and take with it, and it swells up so big that your whole thinking and mind and heart gets overwhelmed by it. So be without attachment. It's amazing. 60 years of monkhood and 16 doctorates, is it? It was so many doctorates. I remember.
I have now 4.5.
4.5, I'm sorry, it was 16 languages, wasn't it? a brilliant scholar.
Brilliant mind.
Yes.
And heart.
So he has many stories to tell. So, so Aurangzeb Akbar came up to me and said, I would love to say something on World Interfaith Harmony Week, and how can interfaith play a role in greater harmony in the world? This would be wonderful. Mr. Aurangzeb Akbar is a very keen ambassador for peace, and really helps us a lot, particularly with VIPs who are visiting from Pakistan, and he introduces them. Amazing.
Thank you very much,
so
Mr. Robin. Good evening, ladies and respected gentlemen. Thank you very much for your time. I will start with Auz Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Wa tu'izzu man tasha wa tuzillu man tasha. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. As our topic is today, how can interfaith support greater world harmony? I just have to say, interfaith is much needed key element to promoting peace and harmony amongst different communities and wider societies. Greater interfaith dialogue on a variety of levels, just as intercultural understanding is the way forward and the key to breaking away from the 10 steps to genocide and instead build more cohesive, equal, safer, and fairer societies. Whatever our religious or spiritual backgrounds and whatever our position within our religious communities. From church goer to imam or even to the pope, each and every one of us can and must play our part of this movement as the member of our wider collective multi-faith society, which respects human rights and declares never again, and never again. This rule quite clearly calls upon us to simply treat others the way you wish to be treated. This principle can be found across all of major faith traditions. By the way, in the Islam, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "None of you truly believes until he wishes for his brother what he wishes for himself." Simply, in Christianity, in the Luke, Jesus, Hazrat Isa alayhi salam, very clearly said, "Love your neighbors as you love yourself." This very same principle can also be found in Buddhism, Shintoism, Hinduism, and other faiths as well. So we are here to make this world peaceful. So thank you very much. I just wanted to say my whole energy and my whole time and meaning of my life to live for the peace and die for the peace. And end of these words, I just wanted to sing only one thing, that यही आरज़ू है दिल में जब जान तन से निकले, जब जान तन से निकले, यही आरज़ू है दिल में, जब जान तन से निकले, जब जान तन से निकले, मेरा सर हो या मुहम्मद, मेरा सर हो या मुहम्मद, तेरा हो आसिताना, ए ताजदार बतहा, जलवा जरा दिखाना, उजड़े हुए चमन में बनकर बहार आना, ए ताजदार बतहा। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Oh, you have talents I didn't know about. That's very good, thank you. And I'd like to invite up Mr. Paramjit Singh to represent the Sikh faith this evening. I know you wanted to say a few words. I'm inviting you up quite quickly. Thank you so much. You're also someone who's been at events here for many years. We're very grateful to see you again.
Thank you very much. Sat Sri Akal. I was very much taken today by the first speaker who spoke that of women we are all born. And that should be the most harmonious way of making sure today we have the same respect for the woman as we all should have. Even today, in the 21st century, we are having problems in India, in Iran, and Middle East, other countries. Women are second-class citizens, or even third-class citizens, or slaves. 555 years back, our first prophet, the founder of Sikh Dharam, Sikh religion, Guru Nanak Dev Ji, he invoked and he said, we are born of women. Why should we dishonor the kings and the leaders are born? The poor people are born of women. And we must respect and have equal rights for the women. The first prophet, he managed to convince the rulers of the India at that time that there should not be any sati. And the sati was the custom that when a man dies, the wife or the mistresses, they have to die at the same time. They are, sati is the word, S-A-T-I, and they are all burned on the same time with the body. So the third Guru, he said there should be no more sati in India. And he made sure the Mughal emperor at that time, Akbar, insisted and proclaimed that there won't be any more sati in India. Because he was convinced by the third Guru that this is a bad thing, it is a sin. You are taking the life which gives life to others. And today we are here for harmony, interfaith harmony. And Guru Nanak, he traveled all over. He went 4 travels. From India, he went to Tibet, met the monks, met the Buddhists, and then he went to South. And the first time, there was a first church in India, in Chennai, which is Madras. And he also went over there and had a harmonious session with the Father. While he was having talks with everybody, and I was informed that he even traveled to Vatican. And I'm most fortunate that this year I've been invited to see the Pope. Wow. And I want to go over there and convince myself and find out whether Guru Nanak came all the way from India to Vatican, whether they got a proof or not. So I would like to, I'll share it with you when I come back. And with the UPF, I was so fortunate that the first patron, Lord King.
I love him.
During his time, he asked me that until I'm around here, every year you come and attend the UPF and speak about the Holocaust of the Sikhs of 1984. And I was doing that all the time in the Houses of Parliament. And I'm so grateful to Robin and to you, ma'am, for giving me time to do so. I think I won't take that much time because Guru Nanak always said, Sarbatta Phala. That means the blessings of the Guru, of the God Almighty, be with everybody.
Amen.
And the blessings that all of us are blessed. And we live in harmony. And I was just today, to finish with, I was speaking to our lady friend, and I spoke to her for 5 or 10 minutes, and we had a very enchanted talk, that we are all born with one thing that God has given us. And I was just reading this one. It says God's responsibility is 95%. Human responsibility is 5%. Completion of creation is 100%, which is beautiful words. And I just picked up the book, the booklet, and I was so pleased to read it, that what wonderful words they are. And as such, Guru Nanak said, and in fact, the Hindu Shastra has said, they mentioned it, that God has given one thing when everybody is born. That is the number count of the breaths. How many breaths each person, each plant, each animal, each life form is born with. And once that breaths are finished, you go back and immersed in the Almighty, or according to the karma, you go into reincarnations in other forms of life, which is beautiful. And just to give you more extension of that, I think the our dear monk would appreciate that also, and he would know it, that when you're sitting down for 1 minute, you breathe 12 times. That's the normal counting. And when you're walking, you take 18 breaths. When you're angry, it is 64 breaths. And when you're having sex, you got 48, even that is written, 48 breaths. So the more breaths, the more breathing you take, your breaths are diminishing. And you can increase your life form if you can control your breaths. And all the enlightened people, they have reached a stage, the fourth stage of the spiritual world, when they are able to control the breath. And I've been very fortunate to meet such people who are enlightened in India as well as over here. And when I have discussions with them, they fully appreciate that. And according to the Shastras, these are the words. Guru Nanak said, be a good Hindu, be a good Muslim, be a good Christian, be whatever you are, but follow your faith and have faith in the humanity and live in a harmonious way. Thank you very much.
So, breathing is really important. Pranayama. So there's so much about breath in the Eastern religions. I'm sure Reverend Dr. Sumanasiri could talk a lot about breaths. I wanted to talk about Universal Peace Federation in terms of this topic, and a little bit on the role of interfaith. I wanted to start first of all with a video. Today, actually the first time, but do you notice something different up here? So it's my first time to see this in action, so let's see.
UPF had its inaugural assembly on September 12, 2005 at the Lincoln Center in New York City. Reverend Sun Myung Moon delivered the keynote address.
In closing, I ask you to devote your best efforts for the development and the success of the Universal Peace Federation. Thank you. Thank you.
After UPF was founded, there was a series of world tours where the message of UPF was taken literally to every corner of the world.
That it is time for all nations and religions to break down their barriers. Through this, the era of one family under God will arrive and last forever.
UPF is God's cherished hope. The founders spoke repeatedly of an international peace highway connecting the world from Santiago, Chile to London, across the Bering Strait, what has come to be known as the Peace Road, and a vision for a renewed United Nations. UPF emerged on the foundation of decades of programs initiated by its founders and carried out in all parts of the world. Its growth and development over the past 15 years has been dramatic, if not miraculous, owing in large part to the work of tens of thousands of ambassadors for peace, peace activists, and volunteers who draw from all nationalities, religions, ethnicities, cultures, and traditions, bound together by a vision of peace, a vision of humanity, as one global family under one God. The range of programs over the years has been both broad and expansive, from character education to strengthening the family, from conflict prevention to conflict resolution, from poverty reduction to environmental stewardship, from interfaith dialogue to youth service initiatives, from support of the United Nations to partnerships with the African Union and a wide range of international organizations and NGOs. UPF has a global, multinational, multi-faith network of more than 100,000 ambassadors for peace who support and contribute to the mission and works of UPF. UPF's highest award, the Leadership and Good Governance Award, has been given to distinguished leaders the world over. The World Summit Series is UPF's flagship program involving the highest level of leaders from around the globe, including current and former heads of state and government, to address the critical challenges facing humanity.
Very appropriate that we're here on the 100th anniversary of Reverend Moon's birth, because out of the devastation of World War II and the Korean War, he and his bride found the courage to dream that they could achieve something. And it is amazing what they have created together.
Programs have been successfully held in Korea, the USA, Senegal, South Africa, Nepal, Cambodia, and other nations. The most recent structural innovation within UPF has been the creation of a set of associations dedicated to collaboration among leaders from various fields. These pillar associations are: the International Summit Council for Peace was initiated by UPF co-founder Dr. Hak Jahan Moon in 2019 on the occasion of World Summit 2019 in Seoul, Korea. ISCP is an international network of current and former heads of state and government. The International Association of First Ladies, IAFLP, a project of the ISCP, affirms and uplifts the unique role of First Ladies in contributing to peace and development. IAFLP brings together current and former First Ladies from throughout the world, drawing upon their experience and wisdom as women leaders and as role models who serve their countries in significant ways. The International Association of Parliamentarians for Peace, IAPP, is a worldwide association of parliamentarians which provides a forum to bring their experience and wisdom to bear in the search for solutions to our world's problems. UPF maintains that any successful strategy for peace must take into account the spiritual dimension of our human identity, experience, and interactions. Based on this worldview, UPF initiated the Interreligious Association for Peace and Development, IAPD. The International Media Association for Peace, IMAP, represents a worldwide professional network of journalists who support a socially responsible and moral media. IMAP recognizes the vital role that journalists play in providing objective reporting to foster an informed citizenship. The International Association of Academicians for Peace, IAAP, is a global interdisciplinary academic initiative aimed at contributing toward the realization of a world of lasting peace. IAAP is dedicated to building professional networks for academicians to foster a world of peace. The International Association for Peace and Economic Development, IAED, affirms the role of businesses, business leaders, and investors to make the world a better place. In early 2020, UPF convened a rally of hope featuring dignitaries including Pastor Paula White, Cambodia Head of State His Excellency Hun Sen, President Macky Sall of Senegal, former Canadian Prime Minister Stephen Harper, former US Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich, former UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, and many others.
I believe that the Universal Peace Federation and its a broad set of partnerships in the realms of politics, religion, academia, media, economy, arts, women and youth serve as a good model. I believe the Universal Peace Federation will become a cornerstone to build lasting peace around the world and the heavenly unified Korea based on interdependence, mutual prosperity, and universal values.
Celebrating 15 years, UPF will continue to grow through service, dialogue, and collaboration, guided by its spiritual and moral vision of one family under God.
It's actually a very useful video to show before talking on this topic, because it shows one that interfaith does have a very important role. Religion has an extremely important role in building world peace. And as Reverend Dr. Samana Siri said earlier, this idea of religion giving the impetus for science to have direction. Religion without science is lame. It's crippled. It's, where do you get your dentistry done, or how can you go to the doctor if your science isn't developed? But also, science without religion is blind. So you can have very immoral scientists who want to make lots of money, or who want to build terrible weapons. And in that sense, science, without being guided by a moral framework provided in part by religion, then science is very much blind. So Universal Peace Federation, as Ban Ki-moon was saying, has a broad set of partnerships. We want to create this broad set of, like a multi-sectoral approach with a broad set of partnerships in each area. So working with media, working with academicians, working with politicians, with all kinds of people, with artists and with culture, working with each of these areas, with business people. If you have all these great ideas, but there's no money, there's no economy in order to help people with their standard of living, then it's very short-sighted. So we need to work on all of these fronts, not just one at a time. But particularly religion and politics is very important, because religion creating this realm of the mind together with culture and spirituality, as Reverend Dr. Samana Siri was saying, this spirituality is also, this realm needs to influence our daily life, to inform our decisions. So if you raise a child with good character education, taught by their parents first of all, taught by their siblings, as siblings, you know, clash and love and clash and play, and they become one together, then they also have a very good education in relating with each other, guided by their parents, first of all, later on by their school. But all of these have to be kind of integrated. So it's not just interfaith, but interfaith has such an important role, this realm of the mind, to guide the body in the right way. So, oh, great. So we have this initiative of the culture of peace. It's a long time ago now. I think it was the mid-70s, if I'm correct. On the 24th of January, we had the International Day of Peace, or Education for Peace. That's right, International Day of Education for Peace. And this year the theme was Education for Lasting Peace, which I thought was a wonderful theme, and we put something on Facebook about it. But, the future world will be a world of a new culture of heart, a world of true love where everyone lives for the sake of others. It will be a world of interdependence, mutual prosperity, and universal values. In the future, we have to live the dream of one global family in which we are all brothers and sisters. That's a tremendous model for peace. This idea of being one global family. You don't always get on with everyone in your family, but your family. You know, even if you don't get on with them, you'll still share Christmas with them, or still get together at Easter. You'll share the holy festivals together. You'll still bond with them if they're sick. Sadly, please pray for Sheikh Rahman. He just had to leave because his cousin had a heart attack. So we should pray for his cousin, because that can happen in a moment, right? But we're family. So because he was family, he left, went to be with him. So global family, you know, we need to be like that global family. That's a transformative model, to be a global family. It means, you know, if one of your brothers, your sisters, your cousins is not doing so well, of course you want to help them some way. Maybe make a suggestion, maybe help them in different ways that you can, but you feel responsibility. So interdependence, in Father Moon's sense, the way he was talking was this idea of production meeting needs, not excessive greed, but meeting needs so that everyone is comfortable. Having a fair distribution, reasonable consumption. Again, I thought of a Buddhist concept with this. But this idea of living in balance is a wonderful thing. Mutual prosperity, by overcoming selfishness, then you have much more to give to others. Suddenly it becomes a joy to give to others. And the more you give out, as you know, the more comes back. The more comes back, then the more you have to give. And it becomes a flow. So the higher and higher levels that we can do that, the better. So in this realm, when we overcome selfishness, everything comes more and more into harmony. Human rights, opportunities are guaranteed, shared power and honor. This sense of, as Paramjit Singh was saying, you know, this golden rule, it's a tremendous thing. Just that one golden rule is an incredible transformative model of how we should live as as individuals, within our family, with families to others, to nations to other nations. It's a transformative model of how we should live. And universally shared values, family ethics, moral, ethical society, world of heart, culture. All of these things are incredible concepts which could be examined for a long time. This is an important point. How do we get there from here? There's such a gap between these values, the values that actually we can practice when we're practicing interfaith. But how can we bring it beyond faithful people who are following the tenets of their religions? How can we take it from there to the wider society? I'm not going to show this. This is a video actually you saw within this video, but he was talking about Universal Peace Federation and this model of working in all different levels so that no one is, in a sense, no one's left behind, that we need to go in many different areas of society at the same time, not just in one area. So one nation becomes a nation of sannyasin, or these ascetics who want to live on the mountainside. But actually, we need to follow all of these areas and make sure all areas of society will develop. So these are some of the areas that were talked about in the video, but I don't think I need to talk about them this time. So interfaith and intercultural peace blessing, this is one thing that Father Mood initiated, particularly with those who are willing to receive his guidance on who we should marry or who we should approach. But this idea of going beyond our background, our nation, our comfort zone, and to learn and to get to know and eventually to love someone from another society. Many times David Rennie talks about meeting or marrying through Father Moon's guidance someone from Germany, not so long after the Second World War, right? Well, a few decades, but still, when it was very pertinent, particularly to the older generation who have to accept a daughter-in-law into the family or a son-in-law into their family. So this is the role of interfaith. Interfaith brings communities together. And this is the one that we use for our image. I can see Sheikh Ramsey there. And here's one with Bhai Sabaji. Yeah. What year was that? That was 2009. Can you believe it? In Friends Meeting House. And this is a concept I want you to think of. To be a virtual insider of another faith. So Reverend Dr. Clinton Bennett used to talk about this. He's a Christian, believe he's a Baptist minister. But at the same time, he's an Islamic scholar. And he was very happy to experience the divine through Muslim worship, and often would practice Muslim devotion. So he could be a virtual insider in another faith. Amazing thing to be able to experience divine from different directions, from different faith practices. And to see if it broadens your mind, if it allows you to experience divinity in another way. Another thing, I missed this one. this is one thing I wanted to mention. If we're really going to make an impact on peace in the world, faith's capacity to bring reconciliation, faith's capacity to support reconciliation between warring, feuding, fighting peoples is very important. And I wanted to highlight this group. When we were going to the Middle East, we took, over the space of 4 or 5 years, we took 20-odd delegations to the Middle East from Europe. And we got to know this group, the Bereaved Family Forum, also called the Parents Circle. I saw them on BBC recently. But they make a grieving pair. It's a person from one family who's lost a close family member in the conflict between Israelis and Palestinians. And an Israeli then who's lost a close family member, together with a Palestinian who's lost a close family member. And then to make a grieving pair, rather than seeking revenge, to make this grieving pair. So many times we would hear the personal stories of the people active in this group. And they've been very instrumental of trying to bring the two communities together. It's heartbreaking to think what's happening now. But these people we supported many times, they would come and speak to our groups. They would move their hearts with their testimonies of how they made grieving partnerships. And their two families became such close friends that they could go beyond their community boundaries. So we need this kind of dynamic for reconciliation. We also need to look at our fundamentals, to build good character education, to build a character education so that our children are informed, not just for the years of their schooling to learn for an exam and then forget, to cram and then forget, but actually to inform their life choices so they can remember their teachers, they can remember from their parents, they can remember 20, 30, 40, 50 years later. We need this kind of support. So in conclusion, I would say interfaith is amazing. It's great. It's important. We need to keep it going because it represents a model of bringing the human family together. And it also brings the best people together. And then we also need to bring the others of society and the other areas of our society also with this broad spectrum of partnerships and collaborations. We need to bring them together as well. Thank you very much. So we've heard from a series of men. So it was very important. I would like to invite up Lorna Mara. And Lorna's been such a great volunteer for UPF, helping Margaret in the office. But also I think she stands for a very good standard of Christianity, of promoting Christian values, which I think in her family and her personal life. Thank you.
Thanks, Robin. Okay, it's Interfaith Week, so permit me to say hello. Is that what? Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Robin. Yeah. It's Interfaith Week, so permit me to say hello, brothers and sisters. Yeah. In our modern world, the significance of peace cannot be overstated. As we navigate the complexities of global society, it is crucial to recognize the profound impact that discourse and war can have on our collective future. Discourse, when conducted with respect and understanding, fosters cooperation and progress. It serves as the cornerstone of harmonious societies, allowing diverse perspectives to coexist and flourish. By engaging in constructive dialogue, we bridge divides, fostering a world where collaboration triumphs over conflict. On the contrary, the scepter of war casts a long shadow, leaving scars that endure for generations. The human and societal toll of armed conflict is immeasurable, with consequences extending far beyond the immediate battlegrounds. War disrupts the lives, shatters communities, and sows seeds of animosity that endures forever, hindering the path to true progress. In this context, interfaith dialogue plays a pivotal role. By embracing discussions among people of different beliefs, we further strengthen the fabric of understanding and tolerance. The inclusive approach extends the principles of discourse beyond national boundaries, fostering a global environment where diverse cultures and religions coexist peacefully. As a Christian myself, and all of us as stewards of the present, we carry the responsibility of shaping the legacy we bequeath to future generations. Do we want to leave them a world scarred by the ravages of war, or one where echoes of diplomacy and understanding resound? Our choices today determine the inheritance we leave behind, a legacy of conflict or a legacy of peace. Let us envision a future where our children inherit a world shaped by collaboration, empathy, and commitment to peaceful coexistence. By fostering dialogue, embracing diplomacy, and promoting understanding, we can build a legacy that transcends the confines of our time, creating a foundation for a more harmonious and prosperous world. In conclusion, the importance of peace in our modern world cannot be overstated. It is merely a lofty ideal, but a pragmatic necessity for the prosperity of our global society. As we navigate these challenges of our time, let us strive to be architects of peace, leaving behind a legacy that echoes through the ages, inspiring future generations to build upon the foundations of understanding and cooperation. Let us love one another and let us live in peace. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm very grateful for that. Thank you so much, Lorna. And I know some ladies are going to speak a little later as well. I'm grateful for Sheikh Ramzi because I spoke to him about 3:30 or 4, and he was in Oxford. So he's a very dynamic sheikh, and he's being a great supporter of UPF. But as you know, he's active in so many different human rights issues and so on. But I'd like to welcome him up to address us now. Thank you.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, wa salatu wa salam ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursaleen. Amma ba'd, my brothers and sisters, I greet you with the Islamic greeting of peace. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. May peace and blessing of Almighty God be upon you all. As you heard, of course, Robin said he asked me to 3:30, and I said, okay, for you, I make it, and for Margaret. I had another meeting, and I left it to come here, because at the moment, as you know, is a Interfaith Week, and everybody wants I be involved. However, I haven't got to prepare something special, but I'm going to say, how did I get involved with the interfaith? I never said that before, and nobody asked me. Over the 45 years, I'm in the interfaith. 45 years. The time it started when I was, of course, I married my wife, I can't remember first or second or so. I married, I loved him, of course. God bless his soul. God bless her soul. I married her, and she was devoted Christian. And I'm a devoted Muslim. But love doesn't understand these sort of things. It just goes forward. We met in university and so on, and I said we're going to get married, and we married in a way. Of course, I've got something which I have to say. Of course, married, and we went to the parents. Parents is a very devoted Christian, very, very big people with a huge farm. And almost they accepted me. The father accepted, the mother said yes or no, and so they said, let's go. It was a very big church in the farm. The farm is big, and it's very about 14th century or so. I said, okay, next day or so we can invite everybody and got to get blessing of the priest as well. I said, no problem. We get the blessing, priest can bless us as well. We married as soon as we get there. Packed about 100 people in here, and of course, as I said, and he started to say about, of course, general, Jesus and everything. And he started to say, you are doomed. Straight came to me. I said, God, what shall I say? He said, you are doomed. 45 years. And my wife is holding my hand and said, don't say a word. We are going to be in trouble. And of course, I was kind of more or less a scholar of Islamic and whatever, but he didn't know. And at that time, I'm trying to tell you, at that time, the Christian did not believe Islam or so on. So this one was a Christian country. At the moment, of course, secular or so on. So 45 years ago, this was a Christian country, and they did not understand Muslim getting involved. Muslim, what is that? Anyway. We came to the mosque, and of course, she wanted to know about Islam as well, and knocked the door of the mosque. And I said, of course, my wife is English, and she wanted to learn. She was Christian. She wanted to learn. Of course, I was learning. I knew about the Christianity, but she wanted to learn. And I said, of course, of course, maybe one time she wanted to come to Islam. I said, no. People born Muslim. I said, what? He said, people born Muslim, they cannot come to Islam. And shut the door. He said, nothing, we got nothing, and shut the door. Shut the door of mosque. It was about 10 o'clock, I went there. It wasn't time to pray. And she was very sad. And I said, I don't know what to do. I'm going to make an interfaith here. We came, of course, to the bishop and archbishop, and so on. And of course, it was a very slow going on until the multiculturalism was coming at that time of the, I think it was that lady, of course, Iron Lady, I can't remember, Margaret Thatcher. They coming, and he was bringing it, and they chose me, the people chose me, Muslim whole chose me as UK or whatever chose me as you go forward, we don't want to get involved. You are a great Satan. I said, thank you very much, very kind. We get forward, and it's true. There's nothing I'm making though. And of course we talked with the Muslim, Christian, Hindus, Buddhists, all, and Jews didn't want to get involved at all at that time. We had to slowly bring him in because they said we are different. Hi. And we brought it during the years of the hard work and lots of difficulty which we had. We designed a multi-faith with the government. I've been to multi-faith in a prayer room in the parliament, prayer room in the metropolitan, prayer room in the armies, prayer room in the universities, all. Prayer room in the schools, all. You know how many, of course, as you can see, Metropolitan got a police station. And how many Thames Valley got a police station? What, 50, 60, 70? We had to get the monies and do it, do the interfaith, for the interfaith prayer room. For six big religions, Muslim, Christian, and Jews, and Hindus and Buddhism. I think that was 5 which we provide the main. This was what at the moment you can see. Of course, when the money came, everybody else says, oh, I want to be involved. However, my brothers and sisters, our base was, we talked to the several bishops, at least 40 archbishops. At least I was a place which the 40 archbishops retired or a new one, they were there. We talked. I was representing a Muslim, as of course Muslim Council of Britain, and I was one of the directors of Muslim Council of Britain. And we went there, we talked, and we established what we can do. We said we established it, as one of the brothers said, on the loving God and loving neighbors, because it was in the Islam, in the Christianity, in Jew, and the Hindus, and the Buddhism, and everything. Loving your God and loving, or loving God, loving neighbor, or loving good, loving neighbor. Because many people, we don't believe. Many people was not believer at that time. He said, okay, loving good and loving neighbor, because all has to be together. This comment I said that if the world be based on two things, which we have two principles, which we have, it bring a peace. Otherwise, it's not. And you can see the countries war with each other. If they love each other, they don't go into war. They may have an argument, as Robin was saying, of course, it's a part of family, become part of family. They have families, brothers and sisters, some argue, but they are part of the family. This was a very important things which we agreed with all Christian, and the Jews, of course, was coming at the moment, Jews leading it, almost the interfaith. What I have to say here, we are talking about the many time. Of course, I've been again. I said around the 40 years I've been doing on the justice and peace, and I'm of course human rights activist. You can Google it. No, human rights activist, and based my world based on a justice and peaceful world, not just a peace, not just a peace. A few days ago, we were talking to several bishop and several bishop and several rabbi and whatever was there. I said everybody was talking about peace. I said that's wrong. Justice and peace. Without the justice is no peace. They're called the tree. Tree, if the justice, the fruit is peace. If there is no tree of the justice, there is no fruit of it. Everybody say peace. You cannot bring a peace by end of the machine gun. You cannot, as they're trying to do. I'm not going to say we are not going to political, but they are doing it at the moment. Do you think they get a peace? With the end of the machine gun whack into the head of the people, which you can see. Get, of course, Al Jazeera, you can see how many people have been affected. Do you get a peace? Justice. Therefore, what we need to do, my brothers and sisters, justice first, peace after that. We have United Nations, beautiful United Nations, of course, which is weak. It is weak. And I wish somebody was coming instead of that, because it is very weak. When the Antonio Guterres, which at least 3 times I spoke to him, myself, face to face. 2 times by phone, 2 times by phone and one by face to face. We are talking, I shouldn't say. It is, he wants the justice, but no peace. You understand what I'm saying? They tell him to excuse my language, bugger off. As he said, vacuum, he said, you want your job or not? Do you want, you understand what I'm saying? He said, did not come this thing from vacuum. He said, do you want a job or not? And he changed his mind. Even that head of the X, what's his name? Head of the Twitter, X, what's his name? Elon Musk. He said justice and peace. In 2 days, he changed his mind. 2 days, he changed his mind because 150 billion pounds suddenly dropped. Suddenly, 150 billion pounds dropped. Of course, that was, he said, after that, said, okay, you are right. Let me get the monies back. My brothers and sisters, it's very important we all be for a justice. If you really love your sister, love your brother, we are all brothers and sisters, and we are all human. Human before becoming Muslim, Jews, Christian, Hindus, and Buddhists. Oh, we are human, and after that we choose to be Buddhist, Muslim, Christian. That's we choose after that, and we can change it. Therefore, my brothers and sisters, it is very important to understand the brothers and sisterhood at the moment, and do not degrade the people to the animal or to other things. I was talking in the GB News. GB News. I'm one of the members of GB News, and I'm talking to Najaf Rash. He's the one we were together for 4 or 5 years against each other, but he likes me now talking. No, yes, he likes. He's completely, right. But I have to be. I can talk about. Of course, my train of my thought gone wrong direction. But important thing is justice and peace is what we can have a family under the God. I would like to recommend this word of justice and peace to Universal Peace Federation, which don't say just a peace. It's not coming. I've been on top, I've been on the bottom. I know all. 15 years I've been here, and I'm proud. But talk about the justice if you want to do it, and peace coming behind. God bless you. Thank you very much. Good. It's important, my brothers and sisters, it's important we have this. It's important we can work together and be brother and sister in this. Otherwise, there is no justice, there is no peace. No justice, no peace. What do you say? No justice? I can't hear. No justice, no peace. God bless you all. God bless you all, people of God. And yes, she wants to say something. Can you say something, please? God bless you all. Sorry. My apologies. Yes, she wants to say something. You say something.
I see. Go ahead.
On the 8th of February, we have got a Stop Trafficking conference here at UPF.
On the 8th of February, there will be a Stop Human Trafficking event held from 6 p.m. Start with registration, refreshments, 6:30. The program. It's a very terrible situation in a sense, it's modern day slavery, isn't it? An abuse of people, particularly vulnerable people. And it's like the sluice, the sludge of the modern day society, which needs to be cleaned up. I promised Javed Ali to speak for 3 minutes, and actually that announcement is a good time for him to come up. Thank you.
Hi everyone. I don't want to go on too long because I know it's quite a long evening already, and the other speakers have spoken very, very well. I'd just like to give more of a young person's perspective on interfaith. I think I'm still young, at 27 now, but I was born and brought up in London. 27 as of 4 days ago, something like that. Thank you. getting closer to the big 3-0 number. So we'll see how that goes. But obviously, being born and brought up in London, which is the most diverse city in the world, I believe, it really changes your perspective on how things are. And faith obviously plays a very big and significant role in my life and the lives of everyone, if you believe in a religion or you don't. And obviously London is a big, vibrant family. We all work together. And interfaith activities, they help us to appreciate each other's background, beliefs. It's like a potluck. If anyone knows what a potluck is, everyone brings a dish from their own faith or their own culture, and we all put it together. And what it does, it enriches the experience of the meal, of the get-together. And that's what London is about, and that's what interfaith is really about. And just expanding on when we were talking about young people, I know quite a few people discussed young people. And yes, there are some issues around young people in London and nationally and internationally as well. But how can interfaith hope to fix that? That's what we need to look at. So I'll give one example of me and my friends. So I went to university here in London as well. And I'm Muslim, so I obviously do all the activities. And my friends, they said, okay, we want to get involved. I said, okay, first let's do some fasting. So they joined me in fasting for the month of Ramadan, and they enjoyed it. They said, this is nice, okay. Then they said, okay, I'll invite you to my religious. I visited the temple. I went to the church's activities on their important days of the year. And it's just, it really helps to grow the brotherhood, the sisterhood of how people are. And just another thing, I went to a vigil last week. I know Robin did just mention the situation in the Middle East and how it's pulling people apart, which really is a hard situation. It's a difficult, complicated situation. But I went to a vigil last week. There was many faith leaders there, rabbis. There was the Bishop of North London. Imams were there. And one thing that really brought it down is there was one person whose family, two people, one from the Israeli side, one from the Palestinian side. Both are affected, their families are affected. But instead of arguing about it, instead of fighting and saying, you cause this, you cause this, what did they do? They hugged. They hugged on stage and they cried together. They say, both of us are suffering, but why should we make the suffering in this country? We should look at how we can fix it on that side. So I just want to bring three small things. I said I was only going to speak for 2-3 minutes, but I think there are obviously many qualities we can all bring into our lives, and how young people can also bring it into their lives as well. Number one I'd like to start with is dialogue, and being an active listener. So what it does is very positive. It fosters understanding, it humanizes us and each other, and it prevents conflicts really from escalating. It all starts with dialogue. Second is compassion. Something that we don't really think about. It's compassion, it actually unites us. So we talk, and then compassion for each other's religions, situations, cultural issues, it unites us, it goes beyond borders, and it reminds us of our shared humanity. Thirdly is integrity. This is the pillar of trust. Yeah, this needs to be upheld pretty much by everyone. I'm going to say our leaders need to uphold this, but our leaders don't really have much integrity, but we have. It starts from us ourselves. We need to learn this. So really, to unite the world and to unite the nation, to unite everyone, we need to have these three things. What is it? Dialogue, compassion, and integrity. And there's one saying that goes on and on. It says, "The children of today are the leaders of tomorrow, and the students of today are the lecturers and the teachers of tomorrow." So let's all work together. Thank you.
So can I invite up Fazola? Would you like Fazola? You can please introduce yourself. You want to say something? Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Farzana. I'm from Afghanistan. And I really enjoyed your fruitful talks today. And thank you very much to Mr. Robin and to Margaret for bringing us for the How Can Interfaith Support Greater World Harmony. Hi, today, as a woman from Afghanistan, a follower of the Ismaili Muslim faith, It's a great honor to address you on a topic that lies close to my heart. The quest for greater world harmony through interfaith collaboration. The importance of interfaith understanding cannot be overstated in a world filled with diverse beliefs, tradition, and culture. The rich tapestry of religions waves through together the fabric of harmony. In my journey as a smiling Muslim woman, I have experienced the beauty of engaging with individuals from various religions, backgrounds. I believe our shared humanity unites us through open conversation and mutual respect. We can build a bridge of understanding. And one of the crucial aspects of achieving this harmony is acknowledging and promoting women's rights. In many parts of the world, including Afghanistan, women have faced challenges in realizing their full potential. Across religious lines, we can strive for a world where women's rights are respected and protected universally. As an Ismaili Muslim, I taught to embrace pluralism, seeking knowledge and contributing positively to the societies in which we live. I invite you all to extend this principle beyond the boundaries of our faith, to take meaningful steps toward building a world where diversity is celebrated. Thank you very much again for your time, and thank you very much again for Margaret and Robin for giving me this chance.
Recently, we had a meeting about Afghanistan, and we got to learn about the Hazara community and all the other communities of Afghanistan. They came here and talked, and we will have a follow-up meetings in future. I'm looking forward to that. Thank you. Now we'd like to kind of have a number of contributions, but if they could be very, very short, please. Margaret, I don't know if you would like to MC for this. You're very good at this. And and you can also.
So
Keith would also like to speak.
Oh, yeah, Keith maybe can. Do you want to close or do you want to speak first? Yeah. Okay. Who would like to speak? But it has to be brief. Okay. Mr. Winston? Mackenzie?
Dr. Mackenzie.
Doctor, sorry. You're most welcome. But let's say about 2 to 3 minutes.
Not even that.
Okay, good.
I'm delighted to be here today, ladies and gentlemen. What should have taken an hour and a half took me 3 hours. I don't know if you experienced the same thing. You know, what are we coming to? But look, more fantastic news. Just under a year ago, I stood on this very rostrum and talked about my organic fertilizer. We've now managed to raise the $500,000 to begin working with Ghana and Nigeria. The organic fertilizer is the only one of its kind in the world. It derives from a rock beneath the ocean. It's not mixed up with any chemicals, anything whatsoever. We tried recently to make a delivery to the Congo, but lo and behold, we were told, don't you dare deliver anything to the Congo.
Right.
Well, it's another story. It's a long story. So we have to bypass the Congo. But we're holding a summit, a Commonwealth Trade and Agricultural Summit on the 25th of May in Westminster. Marianne, the hall, what's the hall? The Emmanuel, thank you, Marianne. What to do without you? The Emmanuel Center. It's a 4-hour summit, and I'd like to see some of you there. We've got kings and queens coming from all over Africa, all over the continent of Africa, and high commissioners from London representing the Caribbean. The fertilizer, the organic fertilizer, calcite, is amazing. The website is commonwealthcentral.org.uk. If you have any difficulties with it, then you have to just go in and just put in the .org, but we'll rectify it in about 5 days. commonwealthcentral.org.uk. Have a read and turn up at the summit. I want to see you there. You'll be amazed. Food is the new gold. Remember the strap. Food is the new gold. It's creeping up on people by stealth, especially third world countries. They're being deprived of their land soil is very bad, and they're being deprived of their produce. So we're going to help change all that. Margaret, you're going to help me change all that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, he was telling me. I was so impressed that there is a fertilizer without chemicals. It's amazing. Okay, Fotini? Thank you.
Put your hand together for
Yay!
Thank you, Margaret. Thank you, my love. Thank you. Thank you very much. Good evening, and thank you, Margaret. Thank you, Robin. Thank you, UPF. My name is Fotini Godel. I came from Greece, and why I'm saying about that, because harmony, it's a Greek name. It's harmony, harmonia, and it comes from the verb armozo. Armozo means it's matching together different elements when they're adjusting to each other, matching in the balance, in peace, in fairness. So if we will take different elements, this is a conflict. Harmonia, according to the Greek name harmony, it's adjusting to each other. And this is, of course, another adjustment. But the ideal harmony is oneness. Why I'm saying all of this? Because today we are touching very important subject, interfaith harmony. So if we will see each religion, it's a different finger. Now we're talking about how we can do interfaith in the harmony. Is there any solution? Yes. One of the solutions which can help is if in each religion, independently what is the name of the religion, if the leaders of the religion on all levels, church, city, country, for example, if they will try to clean the religion environment. From what? From the crime on the name of the religion. So when we will see humanity, the history of the humanity, a lot of blood have been lost, a lot of lives in the name of the religion. So what is the solution then? For example, in any religion, they can create a committee. Let's call it CICR. What is it, CICR? CICR means Committee of Investigation of the Crime in the Name of the Religion. It's very important, because if there is a crime, just crime, it could be civil fairness, civil justice, but we're talking in the name of the religion. That's why all leaders of the religion, they must to have this committee and to have the justice and the fairness. That religion, God, and holy books in any religion, either it's God, or it's Allah, or it's Bog in Russian, or it's Greek and Theos, doesn't matter. It should be untouched. It's so holy. It should be untouched. Untouched from blood, untouched from crime, untouched from the domestic abuse, untouched from human trafficking. It should be holy. And this is important to raise up awareness. Nobody should do any crime in the name of the religion. This is very, very important. Why? Because God, our Creator, He is love. Love, He is life, and He is truth. How we can kill lives in the name of the life? It's absolutely crazy. It is crazy. How we can hate in the name of love? It again doesn't go together. That's why this, for example, will help very much. And then what happens? Then in the future, I hope. Then now, because it's conflict, we're talking about adjustment, about harmony. In future, I hope all this will become like that. This is much better harmony and much better adjustment. But in more future, it will be oneness. This is what God wants us. Oneness in the faith, only one belief, only one creator. This is what is actually God wants us. And this is what we are family here, exactly. So God bless every one of you. And I wish that one day we will be oneness in faith, no interfaith, one faith, oneness and love. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Oh, Aurangzeb, welcome. We have two Aurangzebs.
Yeah, two Aurangzebs. I'm Aurangzeb Chaudhary from Azad Kashmir. I work for Prime Minister Azad Kashmir. And Aurangzeb Awan Sahab invited me to your event today. And I attend first time like this event today, Interfaith. And I think what you guys doing, this is brilliant. I appreciate you. In this country, I think interfaith is very important because in especially London, my brother talked about before, we live multicultural society in here. I'm Muslim, but when we get together, I know Christian, Imam Sahib give me very good speech, and thank you very much for everybody. Come here, and I live in Birmingham as well. If you have any
connection, I'll give you.
Yeah, I register my name here. If you need my support, my Kashmiri community, we give you everything if you need. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Okay, if nobody else is going to say something, I have something to say. I'm a very pragmatic person. I love God and I love human beings, but I am very pragmatic. Thank you. I'm a very pragmatic person. I just think that when we started interfaith, people just, majority were Church of England run. You have a cup of tea and, have a little thing and you go. No discussions, nothing. So then dialogue started. But I feel that this thing has got to go further. What you have to do is not dialogue anymore, but cooperation. And we actually tried one time having, look, for example, if a Buddhist, my great brother, comes and says, I need help. So the Christian group also will go and help. You have to work together. There is nothing worse than talking and not doing, right? For me, if for example you want the Islamic mosque needs something, that person who is from our group will come and say, we need help. We want to clean, we want to paint, we want to love, we want to whatever. Whatever is the situation, if they come to us, we can make an organization that actually wants to help another organization, not just their organization. Do you see what I mean? Christians go to Muslims, or the Buddhists goes to somewhere else, and it will be so beautiful that I also heard the story from Shakbir. Do you remember, Robin? Yeah, the Sikh people, they went to help the Hindus. Usually they have a little bit of, for how many days? 7 days, I think. They served. They didn't do anything else. Cook, langar, whatever, serve. Because they were in the Hindus were doing a huge organization, Just one person's idea made that kind of a little bit of stickiness go away. You know, this group doesn't like this group. You know, God, look, they came and fed us. They came and did this. So this doing is what we have to do. If any one of you here wants to help somebody else, we also can say, here in UPF we need help. That's also a spiritual thing, you know? So you can tell us that you need help from us. Then we will try to collect one group of UPFers to go there, yeah? But also religions particularly are important. Like Islam, Christianity, Jewish, places. I really think we should do that. If you want to do that, we'll have a little meeting sometime. Robin, what do you think? Yes. Yeah. We have to start. You know, we cannot just talk. I'm fed up talking. No, we all know the truth. We all know that we are children of God. We all know why is it that we are not working together. You know, it's because we talk, but that closeness, that heart closeness, has come with hand closeness, and it comes from your spirit. You know, working together, that brings something big. Let's do it. Okay. You know, my very learned friend has said nothing. That's William. Do you want to say something? Yeah, short. And then last is our dear chairman. Yeah, Keith West. He's never lets us down. Give me your hand. No, he's better than me.
Hello. I was a bit surprised to be invited to talk to you. When Robin was showing that, or giving his presentation, you might have noticed something called Character Education, a couple of books there on the left-hand side. They're the books which I was very much involved in writing 30 years ago. Right. Published in, in the former Soviet Union, for 7 years, writing the textbooks, the spiritual moral education of young people in a post-communist society. And the question is, well, okay, how are we going to introduce ideas of morality and good and evil and right and wrong in that kind of society, which had been basically incredibly atheistic for many years, decades. So I thought, okay, one way we can do it is to introduce the life and teachings of the founders of the main religions that existed in Russia. That's Buddhism, Christianity, Islam, Judaism, and we added Confucianism because the next door neighbors. And then through this, then the teachers and the young people, they could study and learn about the lives of the most significant human beings and, the most significant people in the whole of human history, and learn about the wisdom of what it was that they taught, without trying to convert them from no faith to a particular faith or from one faith to another, but just they could inherit the wisdom of humanity. And then they could start to realize, oh, this is what Jews teach, Christians, Buddhists, Hindus, I didn't have Hinduism, Muslims, and Confucianism. And then through that, they were able to expand the whole way of looking at the world. Anyway, that was 30 years ago. About 7 years ago, I happened to meet someone called Ghassan Abdullah. He is an educator from East Jerusalem, very much involved in peace education in Palestine and Israel. And just like dear Sheikh, he was a Muslim, and his wife was a Christian. And although he's a Palestinian activist, very active, got thrown into prison, etc. And but then he had a realization through various experiences he had that wasn't the way. He had to go try and find a way to bring peace and reconciliation. Because as an educational psychologist, he realized that young people were going crazy. Anyway, just by chance, I happened to meet him and showed him these books that I've been doing in Russia, former Soviet Union, and as a gift. And then a few months later, he finished reading the first one, and he got onto my case through Zoom and said, we got to translate them into Arabic and use them in the most extremist schools in Palestinian territories. And I thought, well, that's nice. But then it kept bothering me and bothering me and bothering me, and then I realized I need to have some money. So I had to raise money for it to be translated and published, and they're now used in schools in the West Bank and all the libraries there. Because he could realize that through these books, life and teaching the founders of these major religions, it enabled young people to be able to get out of the little world in which they're living and to be able to appreciate other faiths, other ways of life, and to try and get beyond themselves, their own little world, and to be able to understand, oh, that's what Judaism is. Oh, that's very similar to what we believe. That's what Christians believe. This is what Muslims believe. And then through that, to be able to learn about each other, which unfortunately, when you speak to religious leaders, often they have a very poor opinion of another religion. But we wanted to help them to understand and to be able to appreciate other faiths and to be able to respect them. And then through that, to be able to make friends with people of different faiths. Anyway, so that's my little thing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your work.
Thanks.
Don't forget ethical books I sent you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, he was in Russia, and he wanted to write ethics, and I can't go by religion first. So he called me and said, "Can you buy me some ethical books?" And it was really, I remember it like yesterday. But you want to speak? Okay, 2 words. Yeah, that's what you said. Now then, Keith, please.
Thank you. Good evening. I had the privilege of starting Interfaith in 1986 in Sri Lanka, when I worked with Father Catalano, who was a Jesuit priest, and we visited Buddhist priests, Hindu kovils, and I've been Interfaith activist ever since. I'm now the chair of the Milton Keynes Interfaith Association. I do 12 interfaith conferences each year. I had a revelation when I was not living in Afghanistan, but when I was working with the Afghan refugees in New Delhi in 1984. They were trying to make me into a Muslim. They knew I was Christian. You've got to become a Muslim. So we watched the film, The Messenger. It's a wonderful film about the life of the Holy Prophet. And while I was watching this, I had a vision in my heart where I saw the Prophet putting his hand on his forehead, thinking, how do I teach? I've been asked to be a prophet. What do I do? And then I saw Jesus in the Lake of Galilee, going onto the water, thinking, what a perverse people. They don't listen to my words. They don't watch what I do. How can I teach these people? And then I saw Reverend Moon, who was imprisoned in a communist fertilizer factory in the northeast of Korea, coming down from Hungnam in the north to Pyongyang to Seoul and then down to Busan. And he started his movement in a little refugee hut made of cardboard and boxes from the American soldiers. And I thought everybody who's chosen by God has to go through an existential panic, you know? And so I was asked to speak at Muharram in the Shia mosque about 4 years ago, and they were very serious about their Islam. They were bashing each other every time one of the Holy Family was killed. They would hit themselves, you know. In Iran, they whipped themselves. And I thought, if I make a joke, I will be in big trouble. I better not. So I said that, my life is that all the prophets in the next world love each other. They want their followers to embrace each other, become one with each other, maybe even intermarry with each other. But then last week, I was reading Islamic studies, and I saw that when the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, was chosen by God, he was terrified. And he went to his wife. And he said, am I going mad? Am I going to be killed? I don't know. And Khadija, peace be on her, put his head under her dress and said, you're not going mad. You are chosen by God. And because God blesses you, God will protect you. And I thought, my revelation that was just from my feeling about the prophet coming into my heart was actually true in history, actually took place. And I found that out last week. So, alhamdulillah.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. No, you're not going to be Muslim. We are all together. We're the same. Now, the floor is yours. And you're a wise man.
Well, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Dear friends, you know that when they trot me out, we're at the end. And I see people are looking at their watches. It's long since past going home time, particularly with transport difficulties. But I did want to pay tribute to the wonderful contributions we've received this evening. So myriad, so different in their tone and their information. Do you know what I love about these meetings? I go away always having learned something new. And I hope you feel the same way as well. This is a very difficult subject. It is. For thousands of years, religion has been the source and encouragement for bloody conflict. If you read the Old Testament or even the Torah, it's like a horror story. It's what keeps children up at night. The Canaanites were slaughtered because they occupied the land that had been given by God to the Hebrews. The Midianites had their women and children taken and all their cattle slaughtered. It goes on. Isaiah tells us that when God is coming into fruition, when Christ is about to be born, everybody was happy. They were overjoyed. They were as overjoyed as they are at the time of the harvest and at the time of dividing the spoils of the plunder after war. I mean, this is really rough stuff. And then, of course, throughout history, we've had this terrible, terrible excuse for war and conflict in the name of religion. The Crusades, the Inquisition, you name it, and it's going on today. We are seeing religion used not just by religious leaders, but by political leaders as a way of division. I won't mention particular countries, but some of them will be very much in your mind as to how political leaders are using religion to divide people rather than to unite them. It doesn't have to be that way. I remember years ago going to Jerusalem on pilgrimage and walking up the Via Dolorosa and seeing Christians carrying a cross up the road, as they do, with the Orthodox Jews coming down on the other side of the road at the same time as Muezzin was calling the faithful to prayer. And I thought, this is incredible. These three Abrahamic religions are living coexistence. They are living side by side, and they're not sticking knives into each other. So it can happen. And I think we need to remember that one of the most significant desires of Reverend Moon was to actually have at the UN a spiritual forum, a gathering of religious leaders so that they could talk about it. And you were talking about dialogue, you were talking about understanding. I remember my only personal anecdote is that when I won, and I tell you, it wasn't very often, a prize at school for reading, we were given a book token, and we were allowed to go down to the bookstore and choose a book. And the book I chose, and I was really quite young, was a book on comparative religions. So people are interested, even at a young age, people are interested about how religions interact with one another. And so I think, the message this evening is one that we need to proselytize and go out and spread as wide as possible. We need to take some lessons from faiths like the Sikhs and the Baha'is, who universally respect all other religions. We need to inculcate that into some of the more fundamental religions, that actually being a follower of another religion or changing to another religion is not something that should be met with condemnation, but it is something for each individual person to make up their own mind. I think it's appalling, and I say this, I know it may offend some people here, but I think it's appalling that in some countries apostasy is still met with the death penalty. I mean, that cannot be right. People should be able to make their own decision about their own religion. We're all born into a religion. We may have that inculcated into us by us. That is when we should be able to make our own decision, to have a religion or to have none. And we should equally respect everybody who chooses a particular path, because everybody has within themselves, they may not call it religion, they may not call it a soul, but it's a conscience, and it's there. And we are conscious human beings, we are sentient human beings, we can make that decision. And what we've got to do is to make sure that those religions do learn more about each other, as you were saying, that they do understand each other more. They do look more for what unites rather than divides. And if we can do that, maybe we can break this terrible cycle of thousands of years in which religion has been a cause of bloodshed rather than of peace. Thank you very much.
So thank you for that concluding note. And we've heard Margaret's clarion call to work together. And please use your imagination how you can work like that. But I want to wish you a safe journey home, particularly with any train strikes and so on. But I think it's been a wonderful evening. I'm very grateful to everyone for coming and for supporting and participating in this event. Thank you so much. Our next event on February 10th, we have a Young Achievers podcast here. It's our first use of podcasts, but we will have a meeting here, and it will be edited into a podcast afterwards. And basically a young achiever from a previous year, Israel Johnson, he will interview a nominee for Young Achiever Award in the summer. Every summer in the early July, we have a Young Achievers event where a number of wonderful young people who have done great things for their community, great things for humanity, humanitarian work. They come up, they are given an award by their local MP in Parliament, and often their families come. It's so inspiring to listen to what they've done. But we will have a taste of that on February 10th here at 2 p.m. That's the next one, and beyond that, we'll send out by WhatsApp, by Eventbrite. It'll be on our website. Women's meeting is on the 15th. It's on the 15th. Okay. So, thank you so much, and have a safe journey home. And if you can, very practical note, if you could put your chair in the back, that would be a great help. Thank you.